What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Errol Spence, Floyd, Money Mayweather. Get this, Floyd Mayweather called Errol Spence a bitch when they first sparred. Errol Spence Jr. recalled how Floyd Mayweather branded him all right for a bitch when the pair sparred for the first time many years ago. The current welterweight king, who holds 3 versions of the world title, went over wanting to gain Mayweather's respect back in the day. Spence shared the ring with Mayweather as the then world's best fighter in boxing. Regularly, the truth found out that it would take 2 goes to do it. The host of the Pivot podcast recently asked Spence about his experience sparring with the Hall of Famer. And he was just like, I was just there watching him, and I was like a sponge. I was ready to take things from him and implement them into my game. He was training like he was dead broke, like he needed a pair of drawers. He was training hard. That's the biggest thing I got out of it. It didn't matter what was going on. Floyd was going to get his work in regardless. We went on sparring for 5 to 7 minutes in a row, and we got out of the ring, and he said to me, "You all right for a bitch?" And imagine Floyd saying it, "Oh, you all right? You all right for a bitch? You all right for a bitch?" So I didn't hear him at first, and then he said it again. "You all right for a bitch? You all right for a bitch?" So I was like, okay, let's put our shit back on. I said, turn off the clock so we can go until somebody drop. We went in there and sparred for 8 or 9 more minutes in a row, and I think I earned his respect at that time. He saw that I'm no pushover. And those are the words of Errol Spence. And and listen, I think Floyd Mayweather, and this goes with a very important story on how the welterweight division evolved. Somebody like Errol Spence was a young, tough guy from Texas. Has a unique style, has a very durable style, has a very entertaining style. Okay. And someone like Floyd was, that's on top of his game. And this had to be around 2015. So I think what Floyd did, he seen the talent in Errol. But I also think that he felt the pestering from the current fighters of the day, guys that were like 19-0, like Keith Thurman, that was calling him out saying, "You better not duck me, son," right? And I think what he did was he was like, let me play God, let me play matchmaker. You fight Errol Spence. I think you should fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was a couple years ahead of Spence, wherever Spence was at the time. Keith Thurman was around, established himself, knocking people out, whooping up on people. You know what I mean? That's what Keith Thurman was doing. Errol Spence was in like the doghouse, like in the training facilities. Like he said, he had to go and get respect from Floyd. Okay, that shows you weren't really on a contender level anyway to fight anyone like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was on that level. Errol Spence was not at that time. Okay, so what Floyd did, he saw that Errol Spence, because he saw how good Errol Spence was, he saw that Errol Spence can give you the business just like you can give Errol Spence the business. That's why he orchestrated that fight. That's why he set that narrative in motion. That's why Errol Spence was saying to himself, you know what, Keith Thurman scared of me. No, it wasn't that Keith Thurman was scared of you. He just didn't respect him as a fighter. He looked at him as a younger fighter. Whereas Keith Thurman wanted his just due. He wanted to fight Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay, that's a big difference. Why would I want to fight someone 2 years younger or 2 years minus my progress versus taking on the person that I know that I could give the most problems to on their way out the door, which is the cash cow Floyd Money Mayweather. Okay, so you kind of draw your own conclusions, right? And that's what you have. But nonetheless, Floyd is cocky, but I'm glad someone could show Floyd that they're worth being in, sharing the ring with him. And Errol Spence was that person to do exactly that. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Errol Spence's statements that Floyd called him a bitch after sparring. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.